There's a lot in badges that needs to be unpacked, and once you start digging into it, it gets messy and complicated pretty quickly. I'm sure there are other people out there who've had these same thoughts, but this is just my attempt to try to organize some of the thoughts I was having this morning. This is a somewhat blurry white picture of my whiteboard, where I was trying to tease out some of the elements between issuing authorities, learners, and what I'm currently calling badge solar systems, which lead to constellations. But anyways, we'll get into that a little more. But just trying to organize and figure out where the key points of entry and productive thinking would be at this moment. And there's something about course and skills catalogs that can be used to predetermine collections of badges that would then fulfill a particular course, if you will, or meet a particular skill need. I'm not sure what that would look like, but that would be able to integrate badges from different authorities, issuing authorities, to create a competency in a specific area or a skill development in a specific area. So to start with the earner, some learning may happen ad hoc, some learning may be casual, but some learning may be very focused towards meeting specific goals in immediate times. And at that point, a learner and earner would maybe want to look at a course or a skills catalog that would then delineate, I need these specifics in order to meet the requirement for successful participation in or completion of this course or development of this skill. So I don't know where those catalogs would arise from, but they could be generated from multiple different sources, drawing from traditional as well as novel or new ways of learning and approaching learning. But that might be one pathway to earning a badge, is trying to meet a specific requirement that the earner has identified as something that would be useful and helpful in their life at this moment. So the earner collects the badges in their backpack or in their pin board or drawer or whatever you want to call it, and you can group those badges that have been collected from a variety of different learning or earning experiences. They can, of course, be grouped to match specific requirements for in this case, course. And then that sort of moves the badges up to a next level, which I'm not sure what that would be or even if it's necessary, but in my mind there is a next level that sort of formalizes the badge construct into something more easily represented and yet holding all of the necessary metadata that identifies the validity and date of issuance and all the good business that we want held in those badges that could then be exposed to anybody who wants to dig into it. And as far as digging into it goes, this blurry enlargement of the whiteboard takes a look at the idea of a badge solar system, which is just building on the idea of constellations or playing in the same astronomical milieu. A badge can be composed, of course, of mini badges and micro badges and however granular you want to get. But the solar badge, if we can use that term right now, is sort of a capstone badge that represents the accumulation of a number of planetary badges which may orbit that. And each planetary badge may have lunar badges, which would be micro or mini badges, possibly peer-awarded badges, mentor-awarded badges, however you want to envision them, that orbit around that planetary badge. And of course the planetary badge orbits around the solar badge, which is not complete until you've filled in all the planets around that particular solar system. Now, one thing to think about here is the fact that a planetary badge which orbits one specific solar center may also be able to be used in another solar system arrangement, so that a skill that was developed in the pursuit of one particular learning or earning goal is also transferable and plugs into or creates the orbit necessary to meet a requirement for another planetary badge or solar badge. That's just trying to figure out some of the granularity and being able to compress the representation of learned and developed skills and competencies into a more concise way of viewing it. And to sort of finally tie my thoughts of the morning up on this, I was thinking about issuing authorities, and issuing authorities can, of course, be formal institutions, recognized academic authorities already, but you may also have, and hopefully you will have, the evolution of a number of different issuing authorities that will represent more informal or ad hoc ways of earning or learning. And if I'm looking at somebody's badge collection or their constellation or solar system or whatever, and I know that the badges have all been issued by an issuing authority, but it would be nice to dig deeper into that issuing authority if I wanted to, and that brings in the idea, the concept of issuing authorities could have endorsers that would help at least bootstrap the validity of their endorsement of that particular badge. And again, I haven't thought this through a lot, and perhaps others have already been down this pathway, but it was just something that was floating around in my head today, so I just wanted to capture that before that got lost, for what that's worth. So that captures a point in time. It happens to be a Tuesday in November, late November. Some of my thoughts on badges and some of the things that have sort of risen up over the past couple of weeks as I've talked to various people about this, and spend some time thinking about it in the context of where I'm positioned in the world and where I work. It is one viewpoint into how they might function in my particular context, and of course there's a huge amount of flexibility here, which leads to some of the complications, but well worth exploring, and I hope that we can pursue this conversation, and I really look forward to that.